Welcome back to the Good Marshals Universal Podcast. I'm Dan Bernardo, and I'm joined with Keith Mosier and Bo Davis.
How's John Lennon stand?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Give me your
He
best John Lennon
always
stance.
bends his knees.
Uh-huh.
His knees are always over his toes.
Uh-huh.
They are slightly angled. He is very based.
Oh, like
He is,
when he's
I
like
am-
playing the
when he's
instrument?
playing with the Beatles
Uh-huh.
in their prime.
Yeah.
This is John Lennon. Very, I am here. I am a rock.
Yeah.
Versus George, who's a little bit narrower and tends to move a little bit, and Paul, who's a little bit narrower. John is here.
Huh. Yeah. Like a shikodachi.
Yeah. Go look up Beatles picture and you'll go, crap.
Phones
Yeah.
on
He
airplane.
is there.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
I feel like when you look at a lot of rockers with guitar, not today, God, not today, but old school. I mean, all of them were trying to throw their hips around. Elvis, especially, you see a lot more of that knee bending.
Well, that's-
not quite like how you described it, though.
The Beatles did not do a lot of the gyrations that Elvis are known for. This is totally has nothing to do with the subject. We've now gone
Yeah,
completely offline.
completely out.
But that has to do with the nature of rock and roll and where it came from, remembering that it came from Little Richard and people like that who moved a lot. The Beatles, on the other hand, at the very first were very, I wouldn't call them sedate because, I mean, it was rock and roll, but they were, boom, we're here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know,
Heard
but
the
it
Beatles
kind of goes back to movement, right? So,
Yeah.
You think John
if
Lennon
we
was
want to be able
barefoot?
to, we want to be able to stand. We want to be able to move. Now, if you're playing a guitar, you're not worried about any external pressure on your body, on your joints, so that how you stand and how you move is not going to be efficient or not efficient. But even still, like my son, one of his, I don't know if it was his sophomore or senior, I don't remember which year it was at USC. My son is a music performance major. He's getting his master's at the moment. So my son had a Tai Chi instructor come in and teach them how to move around the marimba, which is my son's main instrument. So the ability to, even though you're playing an instrument, the ability to move around efficiently means that you can play longer. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, like even some marimba pieces are 20 minutes long. But like if you're playing live, and you have to stand on stage for 3-4 hours, you don't want to, for weeks in a row, right?
It's not just a question of standing. I mean, you have to perform. Okay, you say it's just a guitar. Imagine holding a good Gibson guitar for 2 hours while strumming it, while standing, which is why my brain is often focused on the way he holds his feet in his hobnail shoes and the way he bends his knees. He is clearly gearing himself for, this is a long haul. I've got to come out here and I've got to be flexible enough and sturdy enough that this is not a problem for me.
I mean,
Hobnails are great on shoes.
Maybe he never thought about it that way.
He might not have. It might be totally natural.
Maybe just the way that he stands. But but we should think about how we stand kind of at all times,
Oh yeah. I mean, well, that's what we do when we teach. We're constantly thinking about how we stand and how we move based on pressure.
Right.
In his case, just as an example, not saying whether he thought about it or not, it might have been a natural thing for him, but something about it looks intentional. Is the only pressure he's experiencing is gravity.
Sure. That's all the pressure anybody experiences when they're just standing and holding something.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thought.
Which is why martial arts is different.
And it may affect, his shoes may have affected that a little bit because they were known for wearing heeled boots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's this forward tilt that's already there, or being enforced upon him. Oh, I'll compensate by bending my knees and kind of sitting back.
Yeah.
Did he actually have hobnails on his shoes?
They were called hobnail boots, but they're nailed.
Okay. I was gonna say hobnails are great. You ever get a pair of boots with hobnails, you're set. You can get through anything. You can climb anything, dude. It's like better than cleats. Too bad they banned them in Bohurt. That's one thing. So that's the coolest thing about Bohurt. I'll talk about this. This has a lot to do with footwear.
Yeah.
They banned modern soles on the bottom, or I guess, yeah, pretty much you can't have anything modern on it. So you get this flat ass piece of leather. And you're in like a cattle arena or mud or grass or rain, whatever the hell.
So very slippery.
Concrete, yeah. And some dudes had hobnails, and that's historically accurate, and it looks dope. I don't think anyone's getting injured by someone's hobnails on their feet, but they banned them, and they banned like grooved anything. So my buddy Johnny, he would take spray-on adhesive at Carnage, and he would and he would just kick up dirt. And then he'd go fight. And that's how he got tread for his crappy
cheating?
leather shoes. No, it's not cheating. No, I don't think it's cheating.
You don't think it's cheating?
I
I mean, they didn't have spray-on adhesive back then.
But you can't see it. They had hobnails back then. They want to ban that too. So
well,
screw 'em.
yeah. So the hobnail, were they did they think if you kicked it would be dangerous or
Some
something?
stupid
Well, I'm thinking
reason.
about stomps because, like I said, I
but
am
they have-
forever
Sure, they have
trying to-
armor on.
They have
yeah.
armor on top of their feet.
Worst case scenario, you get stomped in the butt. And you got a prickly butt. It's like falling into a cactus. You ever fell into one?
Cactus?
I've
Never fallen into it.
Sucks.
I've had cacti impale me, not necessarily by falling on them, but
Nah, I straight up fell on them. Yeah, that sucks. It's just like that. It's just
Very-
all on your butt, I
Very
guess.
interested in this story.
Well, also
we don't
like,
have time.
if I feel like though, if you've got enough hobnails, it's like the Shaolin, how they lay on the bed of nails and break crap on each other. I feel like it wouldn't do nothing.
Well, no, because the physics gets spread out.
Yeah,
Or
and
the
I-
force gets spread out.
I don't know why some people just can't allow hobnails.
I don't know.
People. I know if people are watching, you know who I'm talking about, but I doubt you're watching.
Yeah. But that goes back to, what you're doing too. The footwear needs to be
well, it's
appropriate
It's
for
appropriate
your training.
and or controlled by the area.
If you're wrestling, you have to wear wrestling shoes.
you should
If
you
you're boxing, you have to wear footwear.
I allow my guys
if
to wear
you're
wrestling
bowling,
shoes.
if you're bowling, you got to wear bowling shoes. But again, it's controlled by the owner of the arena. Sifu Fong does not allow any shoes. I don't like wearing nothing. So, and you would call this cheating, but it's not. He doesn't mind socks, so I have a set of kind of like totes, socks that have a little rubberized.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
Yeah,
dude.
like you get at like a trampoline park or something.
Yeah,
Like the
like at a
grip.
trampoline park.
Like at the hospital.
Right, because it gives me the traction that I want.
Yeah.
I can't go
That's
on
not cheating.
I
That's
can't
not
go on
cheating. You gotta
socks
earn
because
those.
it's too slippery, and I don't want to be in my bare feet
Yeah.
because there's people everywhere sweating and snotting and stuff. And I
Yeah.
just don't want that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't blame you at all.
And I know people that have conditions where they cannot control how much they sweat, especially on the bottom of their feet. So if they train without some form of footwear on, they just slip and slide all over the place, and it's just not it's not possible for them to. So
Did the socks have toe holes that you were talking about?
The
or
ones
just
that
grip?
the ones that I have don't. It just has the grip on the bottom. It's just a nice.
Why-
It's not.
so why
it's
do
not
you
a-
think
it's
I
not
think
a
that's
tight-
cheating?
It's not a tight sock. It's actually kind of loose, like a
don't know.
nylon foot
Bo
covering.
thinks anything's cheating. The more,
I don't
the
think
more
it's
I
cheating.
get to know him.
That's part of what I'm saying is
Yeah.
anything that's not specifically in the rules.
Nah, dude,
He
people
likes
gotta
to-
earn.
he likes
Some
to
people
break
gotta
it,
go
and he
earn them
considers-
socks.
And he considers it
You know how many
cheating.
people go into the hospital after a surgery and earn them pair of socks? They get to wear them pair of socks if they want to, dude. That's not cheating. You had to go through that. You earned it.
There's sometimes knowing the footwear helps to understand the art too. Like if you study Japanese iaijutsu, the way that they walk is
Oh,
based
yeah.
on
I got a little-
their
I
footwear.
got a little half tabby sock for whenever I like blow out or blister something up. Socks in here though. Socks in here. This is great on floor, like wood floor, but you know I'd have to get it out. It comes
Yeah,
off.
the short step because
And you,
Yeah.
the
Stilted
little
shoe.
sliding, or else, yeah, because if you walk, you know, you'll fling them off your feet. Yeah, so I guess, you know, shoes, to me, they can be, shoes in general, I think, are problematic to the human species in general. If you have good shoes that help to promote plantar strength, toe strength, ankle strength, knee strength, hip strength, wonderful. And if you want to train in those, awesome. Make sure that you wear those shoes nowhere else other than your training floor. Especially if you're doing any sort of throwing or grappling and you put somebody's face on the mat, you don't want their face on the mat full of crap that you brought in from outside.
Yeah, or learn how to use bleach.
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
that
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter from the point
Really?
of view of people who've paid.
Oh, if you're walking in with them.
If
Right,
you,
right.
yeah,
if you
gotta
walk
put 'em
in
when you
onto
get
that
on,
floor
yeah.
and you walk around and you shove somebody's face onto the mat, I don't care how
I'm
much
saying,
bleach you
it's
use.
not-
maybe
that
one
morning.
day you walked out with them and you had to
It's
go
not.
home. and went,
It's
"Oh, I
not
gotta
even.
clean 'em."
It's not even that. It's not even that. From the perspective of people who have to buy the floor, I don't want you coming in with oil, gum, gravel, glass on my floor, unless you're willing to replace the mats
true.
for me.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other people's medical bills for
And other people's medical bills.
and
So,
staph infections and whatnot.
So in any school, if they allow you to wear shoes, it should be what I call gym shoes only, or shoes that have never been on the street.
Yeah. Mat shoes.
Mat shoes.
Gym shoes.
Gym shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wore them in the gym, and I took them off, and then I came over to the school, the goon, the dojo, whatever.
Right.
I can put them back on because they've only been inside on clean floors.
Right.
Fine, dandy,
Yeah.
not a problem.
Yeah.
Sounds like we should just not walk on gross stuff and then onto the mat. Period.
Well, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
track anything.
Yeah.
Like
Because
going
it's
to the
just-
bathroom
because
barefoot.
because of the expense of the floor. Two, because
time
this
it
is
takes to clean
it's a communal area,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you were just out cleaning up dog poop, you don't want to be walking on the floor where your friends are going to be rolling around.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Simple fix is whatever shoes you were using when you were cleaning dog poop, don't be wearing those on the mat, and please wash your hands.
And
yeah.
even if and I like in Chinese martial arts, most of the time you're wearing shoes. Just in general, right? Like Chinese martial artists, they train in shoes. They train in warehouses. They train, like it's just most of the time they're wearing shoes.
Yeah.
But even still,
I
like
don't even think I've seen like a movie where they didn't have shoes on.
if you are, if I were to take these mats up and just have it concrete, right?
Yeah.
I would make people wear shoes, but it would still have to be shoes that they don't wear out there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even still, it's
it's still
concrete.
gross, yeah.
Because it's still gross. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
still, yeah.
Although I feel like a concrete floor is a little colder, it might stand a little better chance.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it might stand a
separate
little
shoes.
better chance until like it
Separate
doesn't.
shoes.
To me, if it were concrete, and
easier to
we've
clean.
had to debate this at times, where if we were going to be in a different building or whatever. Shoes for me would be required because of the stress that is on many people standing on a hard surface.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it would-
barefoot on concrete is not good for your knees. It's not good for your hips.
you know,
Especially if you're.
That explains so much. That explains
yeah,
all of that day.
there's,
That sucked.
Sure.
there's part of Chum Q where we stomp.
Yeah.
You
When?
could
Since
That would be
when?
horrible.
Chum Q. You don't know Chum Q.
I
That
do know
trains
Chum
us.
Q. I did Chum Q.
If you
It
do,
was the second one, right?
If you don't
Then
know
you-
about, yeah, if you
You don't know about the stomp. You
stomp,
don't
that
know.
you
Where
don't
the-
know,
what's
then
the
you don't know
stomp?
Chum Q. You didn't get there then.
No, you added that. There's no way.
Nope.
I'm
No.
going to argue about this later.
I'll show
I'm going to argue about it later.
I'll show you in a little bit. But easy on a concrete floor, for people to get stone bruises. What is called a stone.
I noticed that the bottom of my feet felt great when I was walking around that castle for 2 days with no shoes and then deciding to put dress shoes on to go out to dinner after.
The
Whew.
problem being, again, dress shoes. It's fashion does not follow form in the
I
case
found
of
out.
shoes.
Yeah.
Most clothes, for some reason, well, I won't say that either. Clothes change our shape and body structure too. We are in a period of history starting around the 60s where clothes shapes became very casual. And so it allowed the body to take its shape. But in prior times, vests, short, 3-button suit jackets actually affected people's structure.
Yeah.
Shoes,
Sometimes on purpose for women.
sometimes on purpose for
I'm
women.
Sure for men too.
But yeah, sometimes definitely on purpose and sometimes just as a side effect. Shoes, for some reason, have had a greater physical effect intentionally, part because they were trying to follow a different function. Heels, for example. Heels were originally worn by men because it helped the foot stay in the stirrup. What we would now call, or the really stacked shoe, the females, where you have the stacked front and the stacked heel,
Like platform shoes?
like platform shoes. Originally,
I got a pair.
originally created for
Mine those
butchers
aren't.
to keep them up out of the blood.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that at all. I had it. So this is going to be my question, and I was going to see how you felt about it too. How you feel about moccasins?
I love moccasins.
I mean,
I was going to make a pair. So
I mean, moccasins are. I mean, it's a slipper. Slippers are fantastic.
yeah, this is what I was thinking.
I love moccasins.
For
Big.
training, no, I would not train in a moccasin.
But that'd be a good walking around shoe.
It's a good rock around shoe. All through high school, I wore moccasin boots.
I'm talking like
Up to-
old school, just like a piece of leather on the foot.
oh,
I'm sure that's what he means too.
it was just a piece,
Oh, I
of,
forget. Yeah, I forget.
piece of leather and all rawhide up top,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
fringe
Shit.
at the
All
top,
right.
laced up.
Yeah.
Almost all of high school.
All right. Well, I know what I'm making next.
But yeah, like there was a period in time in history, for example, that it was considered that heels were too masculine and women shouldn't wear them. If you think of images of your Jane Austen period, your 1700s, or most women are shown in flats,
Yeah, they are.
Like
while
we-
guys are pictured in heels
Yeah.
because they're riding.
Yeah.
The heel was for the stirrup.
Yeah.
And it
yeah,
fashion then turned things around, and women started wearing heels, and then started wearing flats
And the women got taller. We were like, hold
because
on.
they had heels on.
we were like, hold on a minute. What happened?
Let's
Because
make those legs longer.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? You prefer training in shoes? You prefer training barefoot? And which one, whichever you prefer, what style do you train?
I think I'm indifferent.
Like, subscribe, make a comment.
And share with all your friends.
Hit the notification bell.
All those things.
Ding, ding.